we're going to start the recording. All right, everyone, my name is Brittany Moulton. I am the Field Marketing Specialist up here in the Florida Panhandle. I service Pensacola all the way to Panama City. I know a lot of you guys are in different areas, so if I have not met you and you've not been in one of my classes, welcome. I'm super excited to be sharing MarketQuest V2 with y'all. What I'm going to be doing today is I'm actually going to be going live in the tool so that you guys can actually see it firsthand. I'm not a PowerPoint type of person. Usually I like to get into the tool, have you guys see exactly how it works and talk through it. I can't see the chat when I'm sharing my screen. So if you do have a question at any time, please either raise your hand, which you can do at the top of your screen. There's a little happy face with a hand raised. So you can raise your hand, or you can just pop off mute and say, hey, Brittany, and then ask your question. I do talk fast. I'm not from Florida originally. I'm from California. So I try to slow down just a little bit because I know sometimes there's a lot of meat and potatoes to these tools. So I want to make sure that you guys get everything. Like I said, the class is being recorded. I'll be able to share that with you in the chat after the recording is over. So without further ado, I will need someone to tell me that they can see my screen. So I will need someone to jump off mute and let me know that they're seeing my screen being shared.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Okay, guys. So we're going to start on my CB desk. That's where everything begins and starts. We're going to find that MarketQuest V2 tile, and we're going to click right into that. Once we click into it, I already had it prepped and ready for y'all. You're going to get dropped into MarketQuest V2. So if you've never been in this tool, this is what we call the home page or dashboard. This is actually where you're going to click on what you want to do in this tool. So I'm going to minimize this for a second. So you have your number one claims. Number one claims is going to be the number one claims that CB has in a specific geographical area. So are we number one in listings, number one in transactions, number one in volume? So this is a great way to kind of brag on CB being the power brand that we are. Market position is going to tell you where we are in the market. So where CB stands against all of its other competitors. This is a great analytical report for yourself, just to kind of keep it, top of mind where we are, where we sit in that market position. Everybody wants to know. The other report is market trends. So this is going to be the beefiest report out of all of them. This one has all that analytical data, lots of graphs, talks about days on market, compares price per square foot, compares prices as they've gone up. So this report is going to be like a very thick report that you would either send to an analytical buyer or seller, or something that maybe you put in your newsletter, but you kind of tailor it a little bit, and we'll talk about that. This is a great report to pull every month just to kind of see where things are trending. I always say for those, sellers and those buyers that are green people that really like to see that data, doctors, right? Those people that like to see those raw numbers, this is a great report to show them. And then you've got my favorite report because I have a very short attention span, the market snapshot. You've probably seen some of your agents, your fellow agents, maybe some of your staff share this report. This is a snapshot in a specific area, and it gives you like 4 stats. So we've got a lot of great reports in here, a lot of great collateral in here. So first things first, you want to make sure that your profile up here at the top is complete. So up here at the top, you can see I have my picture pulled in. You can always just hit that settings button and it will let you either change the default image or change your settings. So just make sure everything looks good. My profile is already kind of pulling in, but if yours isn't, let's make sure that that's all correct. All right, so I'm going to click back to MarketQuest. So I'm up here in Pensacola, so my MLS is going to be the Pensacola Association of Realtors. Make sure that yours is the correct MLS. If not, you can change your MLS, but I'm going to continue as the Pensacola MLS. So we're going to work from left to right. The first one I'm going to click on is our number one claims. So let me click through that. Also, at any time, if my screen isn't shifting, please let me know. Sometimes we get to a stalemate here with Wi-Fi and my screen doesn't share. So if that happens and I'm talking about something and you're not seeing what I'm talking about, then go ahead and just pop off. All right, so a couple things before we get into actually running the report. If you ever need to go back to that dashboard, you can just click on this MarketQuest button. Think of that as like your home button, or you can click on this dashboard button as well to take you back to that home screen. So 2 ways to get back home if you needed to, as well as you can see on the left-hand side, just like we saw on the dashboard, here are the reports that you can click into as well. So we're going to start off with our number 1 claims. It's going to show you in your geographical zip code some of the number 1 claims that are already here. So you could just click into these, but you can also search locations. So right here, you can either search by county, city, or zip code. So you can choose a specific zip code if you're in that specific zip code or city. And you would just go ahead and put in that zip code. So I'm going to show you a couple different ones. The first one I'm going to show you is this zip code, 32504. And you can see that when I highlight that one, it's in red. So this does not have any number 1 claims in that area. So if you're seeing red, that means that that geographical area does not have any number 1 claims. So you're going to want to exit out. So I wanted to show you what happens if a specific area does not have number 1 claims. So let's go into an area that I know does have number 1 claims. 32536. Okay. Oh no. Did I put that wrong? 32565, sorry. Okay. So we'll take away that. We'll take out our number 1 that's red. For location filters, this is where you could come down here and do county, city, or zip, so you can get even granular. But I already put in a zip code, so I don't need to worry about my location filters, but I could reset it if I want. For report filters, so for this one, you can do for the transaction side, you can do total, list side, or buy side. For sales type, you can do units or volume. For time period, you could do last year, last quarter, or year to date. So obviously year to date for right now would just be January. You can do all price ranges or just $1 million plus. And then you can either view it by brand, brokerage, or office. So if you're trying to see what your office ranks against other ones, or just our CB brand or brokerage. So let's scroll back up here. For transaction side, I'm going to click total. I'm not going to press anything for, well, let's just do units for sales type. For time period, I'm going to do last year just because I want more data. Since we just started the new year, we're not going to have as much data. For price range, I am going to do all prices. And for view by, I'm going to do by brokerage. And I'm going to hit update. So when I hit update, I've got one number 1 claims. So I can click into the report. When I click in, it talks about Coldwell Banker being number 1 in the zip code of 32565, leading brokerage of total units. This is January through December 2021. It's showing you Coldwell Banker, the next brokerage, and then the other few that kind of, coincide. So really great data here. This is really great to kind of leverage if you wanted to put it on your website. You could take it to your InTouch website. You could share it on your social media. So let me show you how to share it on your social media. So you can come up here to this blue button that says share report. You can either preview the website, you can do a social media post, you can export it as a PDF, or you could email it. So you have lots of options. But for this, I'm going to hit social media. So it's going to ask you, where do you want to share it to? Facebook, Pinterest, do you want to copy the URL, LinkedIn, or Twitter? We want Facebook. So then it's going to ask you actually to set up your Facebook, and you can, mine is already set up, as you can see. Then I would just type my language and hit share. So this is a really great way to get a social media post right away. Really great data and a really great number 1 claim on your social media. So that is number 1 claims. You can also obviously share it to LinkedIn. You could copy the URL if you'd like, and you could also download the PDF and put it onto your website. So if you had a specific geographical area, a zip code that you're really farming in, that you wanted to show that we're the leading brokerage in that area, then you can use this. So yeah, you can see on the left-hand side, you can really filter this differently to really meet your needs. You can also change your MLS. So a lot of my agents up here in the Panhandle are in 3 MLSs. It's pretty crazy. So they can change this depending upon the zip code or the city. That way they can really get that raw data. So that is number 1 claims. This is a great tool, just kind of a snapshot. I'm going to move on to market position unless there are any questions. No? Okay, awesome. So I'm going to click on this market position. Market position is going to tell us where we are in the market. So it's pulling up a report here in this area, but we're actually going to reset the filters. So let's go back to that 32526. Which probably a lot of you guys don't even know where that is unless you're up here with me. Or you can choose, if you see in your location filters, county. So we have different counties up here. Cities, you can choose different cities. Zip codes, here's all the zip codes in Pensacola, your MLS area, and then school district. So you have a specific school district that you're trying to pull numbers around, or subdivision. So this is pretty cool because if you're farming a specific subdivision, you can actually get this report down to the nitty-gritty into subdivisions, which is really kind of awesome. So I'm going to keep it just by my zip code filter, but I wanted to show you that you could filter it down to the subdivision, which is pretty awesome. Report filters. So do we want single family, townhome, and condo? Down south, y'all have a lot of condos, so you might want to keep that one illuminated. We do not, so I'm going to take condo out. For you RCC people, if anyone has their commercial license, you can also pull commercial data in this, which is pretty awesome, as well as lot, land, and farm. There is a lot of farm up where I live, so that would be a good one to put on if I needed it. And then you have transaction side. You can either do total, list side, or buy side, just like we did in number 1 claims. For sales type, you can either do by volume or units. I'm going to click it to units. And then for this one, it's saying last quarter, but since last quarter, we haven't been through a quarter, I'm going to do last year. You can choose your price range. So if you wanted a specific price range, maybe you only wanted to see things 500,000 and up, you could change that. And then again, you can view it by brand, brokerage, or office. So I'm going to go ahead and update that report. And we are not the number 1 in this area. So you can either show it as a percentage or you can show it as a graph. So if I click on the percentage, it's going to show you percentage versus units. So remember, we did it by units, so it's going to show you the units, and then you can change it to percentage if you like percentage better. So you can kind of see the leading people in our area in this specific zip code, as well as if I scroll down, it gives you that market position data. So that raw data where you can really see, you know, list side, buy side total, units per percentage share, volume sold, volume percentage share. You can toggle over, and then it's got its total over here. So you've got your actual data, your raw data, and then you've got your graph. You can also export this report same way we did it. This one's going to look a little different. So this one isn't as pretty or sexy as the number 1 claims is, just because this is one that you probably wouldn't post on social media. This would be something you'd either put in your website, or you would send it an email, or you could use it in a Moxie presentation. So a lot of these items here can be used in many of our tools, right? So we talked about you could add this to your website and In Touch. You could actually download this and put this in your Moxie presentations. You could actually have this on hand in an open house, right? There's a lot of different things that you can do here. You could also email it to a potential client just to kind of show them. I take these on listing appointments. Obviously, if we're not number 1, maybe not the best thing to take on a listing appointment, to each their own. But that being said, this can be used in a lot of different places. So you would either choose landscape or portrait. For Moxie, you're going to want the portrait one because it fits nice in that Moxie presentation. For landscape, obviously that's going to be paper wide. That would be good for printing out, maybe putting in a deck, or leaving at an open house. So just depending upon what you want. You can also take out things. So you can select selections that you want to include in your report. Maybe you don't want the competitors' names. Maybe you just want to show Coldwell Banker, competitor, rather than their names. Maybe you don't want the brand logo for some reason. Not sure why you wouldn't. And then data table. Maybe you don't want the table. You just want that pretty graph. You know that the person that you're meeting with isn't as, savvy with data. So you just want to show them a pretty graph. So then you would just hit that export button and it would download as a PDF. You'd save it to your computer and either print it or put it in your Moxie presentation. So that is market position report. It is going to give you a warning right here due to financial reporting timelines. Last year's 2020 data until Realogy's quarter 4 earnings call. So it'll give you some of these. Oops, I didn't mean to click on that. So sorry. It'll give you some warnings if the data is different or you need to be called to attention. So it's talking about number 4 in this market, number 7% total market share, 120 down from position 1. So it gives you kind of a snapshot too of like where we need to escalate to get to the number 1 position. So that is market position. Does anyone have any questions on that? Pretty similar to the number 1 claims. Once you get those filters in the background all sorted out, it gets pretty simple. Okay, so we're going to move on to market trends. Again, this is that beefy analytical report that you would probably send to somebody. You could include it in your Moxie presentations or a listing appointment. That's up to you. So again, up here on the left-hand side, choose your MLS. Then you're going to search your locations. I'm actually going to put my personal zip code in here just because I'm curious to see what that market report looks like. And some of you guys that are down south that live in those multi-million-dollar properties are going to probably laugh when you see this report. Come to Northwest Florida. We'd love to have you. You can change your location filters again to county, city, zip, MLS area, school district, or subdivision. Again, this is a great tool if you're farming a specific subdivision. So if you're going to meet with the potential seller that's in a specific subdivision, you can go ahead and do this report. So I'm going to turn the rest of those off because I just want to do it by my zip code. Report filters. So up by me, I have no condos and I don't have townhomes. So I'm going to take those off and just do single family homes. There is a lot of lot, land, and farm up by me, but I'm actually not going to illuminate that one. I'm going to skip it. And then time period. So you can actually choose when you want to run this report. So I'm going to choose 2022. So it's going to give me January of 2022 because we are still in February. So it's going to give you last month's data. This is available usually on the 5th of every month. So you can come in here and get the new data on the 5th or 6th of every month. So you can come in here and run this report. You can change the price range. So if we wanted to go 500 plus, we could, but I'm going to keep that blank because I want to see what that report looks like. So I'm going to hit update. It's going to load. You can see on this front page, this is going to be a lot of data right here. You can actually change your view from the little arrows up and down to percentage or to dollar sign. So depending upon how you read graphs, what you think is the most easily read. I like percentage personally. I like seeing the colors. I like seeing percentage points. That's how I read data, but it's all preference. Then I'm going to scroll down. As you can see, it gives me my average and median sales price. And if I hover over these, it's going to tell me what each month is. So that one was June 2019. So this report's going back to all the way of February of 2019 in comparison, all the way up to January 2022. So you can kind of see how we've had that price increase. Our average price. So you can see here up in my area, 339,000 is average in where I live. And then back in 2019, we were in the 2s. So if I keep scrolling down, there's more reports here, sales price per list price ratio. Same thing, you can hover over the graph. It is live, so you can see the highs and the lows, and you can kind of see we've kind of leveled off here. And then you can read the graph down here, 2021, 2020, 2021, 2020, 2019, and 2022. Then you've got your number of properties sold and absorption rate. So here's where you would come over here and see how many properties were sold. We were kind of down from December, 48 properties versus our 75 in December. So you can just kind of see how we're leveling off here at the beginning of the year. Average days on market. This is always a fun graph, one of my favorites. Back when COVID hit, you know, it was pretty crazy, and then we kind of, you know, leveled off, and then we got really, really low back last year where we had, you know, a 15-day on market in May 2021. So it's just very nice to be able to come in here and get that bird's eye view of what the market looked like from 2019 to 2022. You've got your average sales per square foot, which is a great graph, in my opinion, especially for my home value, that has gone up significantly from when I bought my home in 2016. Then you've got your inventory and MSI. So again, just another great graph, really great to see that, you know, snapshot of where the market is. Y'all know this market is hot, and so this is a great way to kind of showcase that. Then you've got your new listings. So how many listings were taken in the month of January? 45. And that is all for this report. So this report has a ton of data in it. So I'm going to scroll back up to the top and show you how to download it. So same thing, we're going to export that report. It gives you that beautiful cover page where it has my zip code that I ran, my property type, my date range, my sales price. I did 0 to 99,000. Got my contact info in there, and it looks really great. So a couple things. Number one, if you're sending it via email, it's going to have these live links to where they can interact with it. Obviously, if you're printing it as a PDF, those live links are going to go away because you can't click on a piece of paper. So just remember that. You can also choose which ones that you want to leave out. So if you're trying to run this report and you only want 3 out of the, you know, multitude that it offers, you can click those off. So maybe you don't want number of properties sold. Maybe you don't want, we do want the overview, new listings, inventory, and average, medium, and sales prices. That's pretty important one, but for the sake of this, we'll just pretend we don't want that one. So it cuts down that report, so you have, you know, less of a huge clunky report, and you have more of a consolidated report. Again, you're going to want to do it as portrait for Moxie, landscape for printing, leaving at open houses. This is a really great report to leave in your open houses as well for people to take a peek at, as well as bringing it to a potential seller. And then it's also very informative for your buyers as well. So it's a great report all around. So that is our market report, market trends report. Does anyone have any questions about that? We're kind of moving right along.
Is there a way to send it directly to like your Instagram versus Facebook or LinkedIn?
No, unfortunately not. So you could post it on Facebook, and if you have your Facebook connected to your Instagram on your business page, it should carry over.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. All right, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Good question. Okay, one thing I did want to mention is there are a couple ways to get help if you ever need help with this tool. There is a little chat box down here on the right-hand side, as well as a little help button that has videos if you have any questions. But as you can see, this tool is actually pretty easy to navigate when you know what you're doing. You just have to kind of get in here and play with it. So the last thing in MarketQuest V2 is our market snapshot. So we're going to click on that. So this is a snapshot of a specific area. Again, you're going to filter through your MLS, figure out which MLS you're going to use. Then you're going to use either a zip code or go down to your location filters again and do it by county, city, zip, MLS area, school district, or subdivision. So I'm going to just use my zip code since we've kind of been using it just for the sake of our training. click my zip code on. I'm going to minimize my location filters because I already have it by zip. And then I'm going to do report filters. Again, I'm going to take out that townhome. I'm going to take out that condo, and I'm going to keep it just single family. You can choose, again, your date here. So you can either do, it goes back to 1999, which is pretty crazy, but 2022, January. Again, remember the new data will be available on the 7th of every month, or the 5th or 6th. Price range right here. If you want to change the price, I'm just going to leave it as is and hit update. So you guys probably have seen this before on Facebook. A lot of agents share this report. It's a great little snapshot of an area. So we're seeing that my average sales price in my area has gone up 11%, medium list price up 4%, list price per list price ratio, we're kind of flat. We're down 35% in number of properties sold. MSI is down 19%. So this is a really great report just to kind of share. A lot of my agents, what they do up here in the Panhandle, every month they come in here and they share this snapshot for their farming areas to just give people an idea of how the market is doing. So if we scroll back up here at the top, you can actually edit the data points here. So let's just pretend that you didn't want a specific one. So let's take out MSI and let's add number of properties for sale. You can change the report to that. So it took down number of properties for sale, down 48%. So you're going to find in this report what your favorite kind of snapshot is, but you have a lot of options here. And it shows you that data here. So let's just pretend you don't want any of the downward trends. You want all upward trends. You could change it to all the upward trends. But you've got a really great tool here because you can, change the snapshot to meet your needs and what you want your potential clients to see. So that's a great part of the tool. And then when you're ready to share it, you're going to click that share snapshot. You can either download it or email it. So this one doesn't have that share feature to Facebook like the #1 claims did. So you would have to download it first and then post it on your social media, which would, if you have your Instagram and your Facebook connected, it would go to both. You can also email it. So for social media, I always say Square. Square is always a good option. Tall and wide are kind of funky, so keep it square. And then you can also download this as a postcard. So if you're farming a specific area, let's just pretend you're farming my subdivision in the 32533, you could put this on a postcard and send it out to that area using our Express docs. So you can go in there, use that custom postcard, load this bad boy in there, and you have a beautiful postcard ready to go to send out to your potential clients. So this gives you a lot of options, and then you can also email it. So that is Market Snapshot. So this class was scheduled for an hour. I knew we weren't going to need an hour. MarketQuest is a really great tool, but I can get through it pretty quick with y'all. So I would like to stick around and see if y'all have any questions, if you need me to go back through something, if I went too fast. Please let me know. I'm going to open the floor up to see if you don't have questions and you feel like you have a good understanding about this tool, then you're welcome to jump off and get 30 minutes back in your day. But if you want to stick around and chat, I'll be available for the full allotted time. So let me go over to the chat to see if anyone had any questions. Let me stop sharing my screen so I can read them. We do have some questions in the chat. It looks like how to email this report to clients, please. That's a great question. So yeah, so you're going to click that email button and then you would just, it's going to do the report for you and you just put their email in. Good question. Great question, actually. Does anyone else have any other questions about this tool?
I have a question regarding the recording. Is there any way, because my computer was acting up, that you could send the recording after the class?
Yes, ma'am. So it will be available in the chat once everybody jumps off the call, but I also upload all of my videos to my YouTube channel. So let me put that in the chat. You'll be able to find it there.
Thank you.
Yeah, I've got a lot of other videos there too. So a good resource for you guys. Anybody else have any questions? No?
I just had a quick question. I'm a newer agent, so I'm just trying to figure out how to find some information. And I thought it was going to be in this. So basically, if I was looking for an area to farm, for example, like to find like, you know, certain clientels and at certain price points and things like that, was Market V2 the way to do it, or is there another tile on desk?
Yeah, there's not really a way to see. What I tell people when you're a new agent starting off for farming, the MLS is a great resource. Go in there, see in a specific area. If there's a bunch of agents that are farming, you can see the price point in the MLS. There's reports that you can pull in there. At least up here in my MLS, you can. We talk about farming a lot with new agents, thinking about proximity to your house, right? So location is really key too. If it's super far away, you're not going to be in that farm area, getting to know your clientele, getting to know their behaviors, what they like, how they consume content, you know, what their age range is, so you know how to target them. So I would say your best bet is to try to schedule a one-on-one with either your field admin and your manager. Go through the MLS reports, pull that data through there, see the homes that have sold around there and the price points, and then also see how many agents are farming that area, right? So if there's one dominant agent in that area, that might not be the best area to farm. If there's multiple agents in that area, then you know that area is not really consumed by one person. That gives you a better bird's eye view too.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, hopefully that answered your question.
But thank you for the class. It was great. It was very comprehensive, and you went slow enough to really understand it, because sometimes the classes go way too fast and you can't really get a grasp on the materials. So thank you for that. But I think I'm good, but thank you so much.
Absolutely. You have a wonderful day, and thanks for
You too.
joining. And if you need anything, just reach out. I'm going to put my email in the chat if anyone has any questions too.
Okay, thank you. You were awesome.
Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right. So for everyone else that's left, hopefully you're still at your computer. I know sometimes we get distracted, we walk away, we grab phone calls. I'm going to stick around for about a couple more minutes and then I'll hop off. Once everybody hops off the call, then it will allow me to get their recording. If somebody accidentally stays on the call, that hinders the recording because it thinks that the recording is still happening. So I'll stick around for a couple more minutes if anyone's just kind of wait until other people pop off to ask me a question. Otherwise, it's been a pleasure.
Question.
Yes.
What is the difference between MarketQuest, I'm at the cbdesk.com, and MarketQuest V2?
Yeah, great question. So MarketQuest was our old tool. It's no longer accessible anymore. This is our new tool, MarketQuest V2. It has a lot more features. So it used to just do a couple reports for us. So they revamped it and launched MarketQuest V2. So MarketQuest is kind of obsolete. You can just kind of hide that tile on desk.
And bring on MarketQuest V2 instead from the search.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. You want to keep that MarketQuest V2 tile on your desk and hide the MarketQuest tile.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, great question. All right. It looks like we are all done here. If you guys need anything, you have my email. You can write me in this chat. And like I said, the recording will be available once everybody leaves the conversation. Thank you so much for joining my class, and I hope you all have a really great rest of your Thursday. Bye, everyone.